Yo, yo, yo. What is going on, everyone? Another day, another you, another me. We're going to have one series today. That's it. One! And then I'm going to bed. I am exhausted. But that's okay. Sound. What's going on? Yo. What we've got Rappel versus Nyan today. We have Rappel versus Nyan today. They've already drafted. I am sitting here waiting for them to send in the clowns. They haven't sent in their god picker thing yet. I don't know if they're doing that privately or not. I also can't see the rooms in the AOM stats lobby, which makes things even harder because that's down at the moment, apparently. Apparently it's down. So that's that. And yeah, so I'm just going to sit here and pretend like I know what's going on. Look, the Cyclops is going at it now. Look, Cyclops versus... How does the Umibozu beat the Cyclops? The Cyclops is so much stronger, though. It must be like classical Cyclops versus mythical age Umibozu. That's the only explanation. But this is actually, I think, the first game for Nyan from memory. I don't think he's played one yet. This is his first one, and he's going to be playing, I believe, Recon like tomorrow as well, or something like that. He's a busy boy. He's been a busy boy. This was made on my patch, your patch. Oh dear. You got the dwarf beating the Quaofu, the Herser beating whatever it beat, all the other stuff. Anyways, let's go over and check out the draft because, wait, does the Oni win or does the Polyphemus win? Surely Polyphemus wins, right? If the Oni wins, that would be broken. Okay. Well, that's actually not the Oni. That's a hero. That's the hero Oni. Anyways. Yeah, I'll, do you have the, maybe you don't. They still haven't put the room up, so I might try and just drop the URL in my chat so you can grab it from there. Because AOM stats is broken. So what you're telling me there, Uros, is every single one of these fights is rigged. Every single one of these fights is rigged. All right, let's check out the draft and see what we're going to see. It's not Resurgam versus Bachi. It is TheRapl versus Nyan. I knew I forgot to do something. I knew it. I was sitting here going, surely I've forgotten to do something. Surely. But it turns out it was the names, and that's fine. I fixed it up. So our first game will be on Blue Lagoon. It looks like the bands have been pretty stock standard. We see some Anatolia or Kuchichibu Mirage bands from TheRapl. Nyan obliging, getting out that Bamboo Grove. It's a certain type of person that likes that Bamboo Grove. And I guess that Nyan is not that certain type of person. So if you want to play it versus him, you better pick it quick. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and talk about this because this is going to be our first matchup. It will be a Kronos versus Fushi Affair. As the first pick there from TheRapl, actually Noir after the Tsukiyomi. I'm not surprised to see Tsukiyomi as the ace pick right now. I think a lot of people just think he's really strong. I have been seeing some cracks in Tsukiyomi, and the more that this god sees play in this group stage, I think the more we're going to start seeing those cracks turning into wins or losses for Tsukiyomi, or the player trying to beat Tsukiyomi. So you've got things like we saw a really nice attempt with Thor, which by all intents and purposes, I think the Thor definitely had that game. Like it was B versus Kavoth. And in the same series, we also saw an Isis versus Tsukiyomi, where I thought the Isis had the upper hand. So I don't think this is going to be. I think that I don't think that this Tsukiyomi god, as strong as he is, I don't think it's as simple as pick Tsukiyomi and win. I still think you have to play a really good game to get those wins. And equally, if you want to beat the Tsukiyomi, you also have to play a really good win as well. But nonetheless, we are going to be all right. I think they are in their lobby, and I will chuck it over here. Big raid, Pegasus Rush. Thank you, my dude. Hope your stream went well. And all the Zeus lovers enjoy. I don't know. Alrighty. So, yeah, we're just waiting for these guys to actually hit the go button, but they should be on their way pretty shortly. And we'll see how it's going to go. Yeah, so basically I've done quite a bit of driving over the past couple of days, so I'm a tired boy. Quite a bit of driving. I did have a good day today though. I got this nice shirt on for a reason. I wore this one today, which is nice. Hope you guys enjoyed my very vague story about not very much, but nonetheless. We could sort of talk a little bit about the players. So Rappel is coming off the back of winning the JJJ, coming second in Mythic Wars. So he's got a lot of winning under his belt. Nyan, this is his first S-tier tournament appearance. A lot of the times, I think he got maybe stiffed from Mythic Wars. I think he probably felt like he should have been the one who got invited, but did not get invited. And I don't think he ever managed to qualify for anything else, though I'm not sure exactly what he tried to qualify for. Hello, everybody. How's everyone going? I think if you're going to take it the way of that, it's not fun if everyone picks the same ace pick. You have to, you really shouldn't be taking it that way. You should be thinking about it more like, it's cool. Everyone gets to play the strong god and we get to see what everyone's going to try and do to beat the strong god. That's the way you take this. Because then you can take the ideas and you can use them in your own games against the strong god. Because the strong god will be popping up in your own games as well. All right, so we are about to be jumping in. We're about a minute and 20 seconds away from go time. There's also there is a chance actually we will see a Tsukiyomi mirror, which I don't think we've seen one yet, which is going to be fun. Yeah, I wonder if like China and Tsukiyomi get nerfed, then Isis will just go back to being these players' pick or not. Considering all the strength in in Japan, I wouldn't be surprised if ISIS gets picked and then gets dethroned quite a bit, especially with like the strength of Atlantean as well. Atlantean seems really, really good right now, which makes me devalue the ISIS a little bit. Ice Machine. Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. You might get, it might happen. Can Atlantean beat China in the classical age? I don't think so in this patch. Well, I mean, obviously, if you play well, you can, but that's a different story. If both players play well, it's very challenging. Alrighty, let's get into game number 1. Whoa, and we are in the right-hand corner of the map, playing as the blue Kronos. His name is TheRapl. In the left-hand corner of the map, in the red color, playing as Fushi. His name is NyanRacingCat. Relics on the map, we have ourselves the Jade Hair. Always a nice relic to be having here as Kronos. There's a few really nice myth units you can enjoy with this one. Automatons, Satyr are pretty good. Don't have Lampedes, but they're pretty good with that one as well. We got the Trojan Gate Hinge, making the walls a little bit stronger. Onto the side, there's the arrows of Heracles, which is going to be a plus 5% base increase to the ranged soldiers and heroes. And finally, Ogre Bitten Helm. So this is just a little bit of a HP boost for the heroes there. Both of those relics are really, really nice there for the Kronos, but also nice for the Chinese player, especially in this matchup for Chillin. I would be a little surprised to see Nyan go for Chi Yao here. I think it's kind of flavor of the month, and everyone's like, it's OP, it's OP, it's OP. Reality-wise, in this matchup, nah. I want Vanish, I want Chillin, and I want that value there, if I can get it. Especially if my myth units are going to be moving 5% faster. While the arts are moving 5% faster is nice, the Kronos player has got access to Prometheus, which means they're going to be able to heroize their citizens. You're very rarely going to be able to kill a villager. So there is that. As we see the temple now coming up for Nyan, he is going to be ready to start pumping his Quaofu out. He actually has decided to skip a Quaofu in favor of getting the temple out faster, increasing his favor gather rate a little bit there early on. But then he doesn't go over onto the gold. So is this a cheese? This has got to be a cheese. He's going for a 1 Quaofu classical age. Probably to try and play around. Oh, he is going Chiao as well. Probably to try and play around a fast classical age from the Kronos. But I don't think that Rappel is going to have any problems here saying, you know what, it's all good. I don't need to put massive amounts of resources into rushing you here. Let's just, if you're going to go for a fast answer, I'll just take the fast second town center and we'll just go from there. Nonetheless, the temple coming in for Rappel is he's going to be looking to put just a little bit of pressure on. We are seeing the pioneers coming out over here as Nyan is spreading out onto the map, looking for every which relic thing he can. Unfortunately for Rappel, he's missed the Jade Hair in the top corner of the map. But nonetheless, he is going to be looking for immediate attack onto these villages here onto the food. There is a singular pioneer there waiting in reserve, as still, actually, Nyan hasn't produced a single Quaofu here, which is wild to me. But nonetheless, he charges in. Villager's going to get beaten back. Rappel goes, oh, you advanced. All right, let's run. No problems. On the back here, already has his mana down. On the town center, we do see a counter barracks getting built up as Rappel wants to get himself some Terma out just to deal with the pioneers, and then he can maybe go into a town center a little bit later. There's no rush. on the other side, there will be a Imperial Academy for the immediate Najjar. As the Yatsa Najjar going to be on the way. Now, one idea here for the Rappel is actually to, he didn't do it, but to, and he didn't put the mana quite right. But you could actually just put, if you want to go for this town center for whatever reason, I don't think it's a great idea. But if you want to go for it, you can put the mana next to here, temple, and another mana. And then your opponent can't stop that town center from going up with like 1 or 2 units there. But nonetheless, Nyan actually housed at the moment, getting up his house. Maybe not aware that the Najjar now does actually cost 3 population instead of 0. He got a little bit of a slap on the old nerf bat. Smack! You should have some population. Everything should have some population. But nonetheless, one Yatsa out in the center of the map here against this hero Terma bunch, but that Najjar is in. And a little bit scary there for Rappel, as Rappel has got the resources. He is going for his town center. It's not the best of town centers. This is average at best. But he does have a gold mine over here he can move to. Does have an elephant in the corner that he could potentially eat. And 2 walls will go a very long way. Where Nyan here, he's putting up his machine workshop. He's putting up his military camp. And he is refusing to build any Quaofu. He's got 30 favor in the bank. He could be going for upgrades. Could be going for these upgrades. But at the moment, 0. 0 Quaofu. There's a town center now up for the Rappel. And that does get spotted there. That does get spotted there from NyanRacingCat immediately. Meanwhile, Rappel is just going to drop his economic guild, try and get his economic upgrades in, come over here, eat the elephant. He's already putting the wall up over there. Fantastic play. And another wall over here would not go astray. And then all of a sudden, Nyan's going to have to be like, well, I got to break down the wall to get over here. And there's room for Rappel to literally just do a billion of these walls here. One, not a billion. Probably like 4 walls, 5 walls, even more, to get back all the way back to here. But nonetheless, little bits of harassment in the center of the map, as Rappel is also going to be going for watchtowers to say, excuse you, please leave me alone. And another idea here would be to start dropping military buildings around the second town center, such that if Nyan does go for a big all-in, Dow Swordsman, Fire Archers, etc., it's not going to be able to get a whole lot from it. As the walls will be up now, the Najjar will not be allowed through. Am I seeing this correctly? There is, unironically, a watchtower getting built here in this machine workshop from Nyan. Very, very defensive orientated that one there. As the citizen on this side looks like it's going to go down. Rappel, is the citizen stuck? Well, one snipe there. That's nice. As the citizen pull through, going to jump onto the back position there. Up onto this spot. Najjar going to slowly break through this position as a Yatsa to come through. Wants to maybe jump over both these walls and start hitting these villages, but they are already, some of them are already heroized. 3 of them there. Easy to turn around and fight back. Still no watchtowers in for the Rappel just yet. But that will be enough here to just sort of say to Nyan, get out of here. This isn't the spot for you right now. You should probably leave. Though Nyan might go crazy and try and take out the towers and things like that as the Terma moving forward, trying to get a couple of pot shots in. Does manage to keep himself alive there as now the watchtowers are up, and Nyan will say, all right, let's get out of here. We'll start thinking about the next thing to do, as one Yatsa manages to come through, but just using that Valor there while that Yatsa comes in, not the most ideal of situation there. Now he can't use it for another 13 seconds, and this Yatsa will be back in to claim the life of this 18 HP villager. As Rappel turns, does he get the snipe back? Nope. Good control from Nyan. And we will see a watchtower getting time shifted in onto this position. Love that play. This is just a heads-up play. It means you can't break through this wall here. You have to go around onto this wall, and then Rappel can do the same thing. It does obviously cost him quite a bit of resources here. Does it tell me? No, It's half the resources there of the 250. So it's reasonable, but yeah. Not cheap, not expensive, just reasonable. A reasonable price there for your safety guarantee on the elephant and the gold mine. As now, Rappel says, okay, I feel like I'm gonna be safe. Now this might be a mistake. I don't think he is going to the next stage. He's grabbing himself upgrades. I think alluvial clay coming through. Also hero Caraballister as well. Yeah, the reason I don't think he's quite safe to just go straight to the heroic age here is because these units, if Nyan just wants to keep going crazy, they'll just break through this position and take it all out. So Rappel needs to sort of fortify it first, maybe get an extra tower or two up on the town center and go from there. As the yards are coming through, another wall over onto this side. And Rappel will need to move up onto this position here. He's actually getting himself Heart of the Titans, which apparently only costs 50 gold, 5 favor. Yep. Is that really all it costs? It's very cheap. Unless more walls coming up from the Rappel, as he says, you're not allowed through here. This is just a no-go zone. That's just why I went this town center, because I saw how defensive this is. Now, one idea here for Nyan, if he really wants to go this way, is to drop a dock over here. Citizen going down. Doesn't go down. Does manage to keep itself alive. The army of Nyan trying to come around onto the left side here, fighting underneath the town center and the tower here. As I don't know if Rappel has enough stuff. He hasn't really been macroing all too well here. He is close on military resource value, though. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold. Pulling back, we see the lightning weapons coming down as the Caraballister getting sniped up. Rappel needs to pull all the way back and just be sacrificing some stuff here. He's got the tower that he can run into. Those houses as well are completely options for him as the citizens going down. Does Rappel have himself survival equipment? He does not have that one in just yet. Resources starting to balloon out of control here. But he does manage to deal with the majority of the units in his main base. Over onto this side as well, looks like the attack has fizzled out. And while some citizen went down, there's still a pretty hefty villager advantage here for the Rappel. He's still got his gold mine in the main base, 1,400 there. He's still got this large gold mine over here with 3,700 here. I think, all things considered, Rappel is doing completely fine here. So Nyan's crazy attacks, just not that effective. More walls coming up over onto this side just to say, okay, we'll make sure that this doesn't happen again. Maybe you can even go for some houses in here just to lock things up and the like. Maybe a market to buy some food wouldn't be a bad idea either. Allows you to sell the food later when you have more income, when your gold mine expires. And I think that's what we're going to see over here. There's more buildings to come down. A whole bunch more counter barracks and things like that wouldn't go astray for the Rappel. And am I wrong on this? Nyan literally says in this game, I saw your patch notes, devs. You know what I thought about him? I thought, nah. Qualfu? Nah. We don't build those. Not good enough. I just build normal villages. Temple going down. Nyan still trying to just beat his way through. Brute force his way through. Citizen over here almost going down. Only 4 oracles out for the Rappel. Generally, we see players kind of slowing down on the Valors at around 10-ish favor. It starts feeling a little bit rubbish to use them past then, but if you got a villager as low HP as that one was, it might not be a terrible idea. Like, got 7 HP, just getting back to full HP and also working fast. That'd be nice. Nonetheless, back over onto the temple here is farms most likely needed for the Rappel, which does give NyanRacingCat a little bit more fight in this game. If your opponent ever farms and you don't, there's just villagers dying somewhere and I'm missing it. Anyways, if your opponent ever starts farming and you don't need to, the advantage, while there is a bit of an advantage between food gather rate on hunt and farms, the advantage isn't really there. The advantage is in the fact you don't have to actually build farms. It's quite a bit of resources. Like at the moment here for the Rappel, having built 7 farms, 7 times 150, you do the math. That's some extra resources that can go into the military there for Nyan. And this Rappel doing a great job of just sitting behind his tower, doing what he can here to just get everything out, play defensive. If you can get to the heroic age, things will become a lot easier because then he can get himself those Arcus and Contarius out, which are obviously very, very strong against this sort of a unit composition. Against the Wuzu Javelineer, you know, Arcus have got way more range, so they're very nice there. They also kill off the Fire Archers. They also kill off the Dao Swordsman, and then Contarius as well to get onto the back line and tank, mostly. Yeah, I'm saying you do the math because I have not slept enough and my brain has stopped working completely. So that's just where we're at the moment, and that's fine. Military barracks now up for the Rappel, and we are going to be seeing Hyperion coming through. Now Rappel does pick his main town center, which is a little risky because it is a little open, but Rappel's way in front on economy, way in front on military, armory upgrade wise. Rappel's now starting to get his upgrades. Nyan doesn't have any himself. Nyan might be thinking about getting to the heroic age himself here, but with this, what is he going to really be able to do? Like a forest protection on this gold mine over here? What about this one? You're going to come over here and wall this off? Lock it off? Maybe. You have to be thinking about how you can contain here at this stage now. As the Wuzu Javelin is over here, getting sniped. Every little bit of damage here for either player ends up being such a big deal. And Rappel really hasn't taken much damage in this game. A little bit at the early stages, but he held beautifully. There's now all the upgrades that come through. Gemini, ranged soldiers, infantry. One thing to show off here as well, as I was saying, there weren't that many oracles, but you see how when he goes to the heroic age, now he's got 7. So this is the timing that most players are playing into, because this is when the favor actually is super valuable. Now you could grab them earlier and then you just have more favor in general, or grab one extra earlier, have more favor in general and not need to build as many more. But at this stage, having 7, being able to push out onto the map, now you're going to be able to spam out Satyr. Life's good, man. Life's good. Lots of Satyr, maybe more chaos and things like that. As we do have a... Is that unironically? It is. Well, Nyan dropped himself his god power on a silo, and it got deconstructed, and now it's gone. So against Kronos, the only place to drop that god power is actually on a town center or a village center where deconstruction doesn't work. It's a really nice counter for that forest protection god power. Nonetheless, Rappel is just coming through. He's going to be cleaning this army up. It looks like, yes, there's a lot of Javelineers here, but the Contarius are coming in. They're tanking. Ballet will not be finishing as Nyan taps out in game number 1 as the Rappel far, far, far too strong. I don't know what Nyan was playing at here. I thought maybe it's going fast to the classical age to play around a Kronos Rush, and then he'll pump out his Quaofu. I thought maybe that was the idea. But then he just went, no, I'm not going to build any of them. And this is the whole reason why China is a prio pick right now. Like, China isn't a prio pick because you can go Yahtzee. It's not a prio pick because you can go chillin'. It's a prio pick because you can get a really big amount of economy. And you'll see that right here in the stats. Of course, this is a 2TC Kronos, but the Kronos player will never be equal against a China player who's spamming out Quaofu. So, I don't know what else to say. Military-wise, Rappel obviously defended beautifully. Didn't lose that too many dudes. Did lose 5 citizen, but that is to be expected when going 2TC most of the time against one town center all in. And nonetheless, first game there for the Rappel. We'll jump back over to the drafting menu, see what they're going to pick for game number 2. Hope you guys are having a fun time, and we'll see you in the next one. Alrighty, we're going to be seeing a Tsukiyomi versus ISIS matchup now. So this is one that we did see the other day. I remember it vaguely. And I remember the ISIS managing to kill 5, 6, 7. I think it was Kavov managing to kill 5 or 6 villages of the Tsukiyomi early. And it's still not being enough. You still have to play a smart game. No matter how sort of, how do I put this? No matter how far in front of a god you think you are, you still need to ensure that you're going to be beating what they're doing. Because then they can just get more and more value out of what they're doing. So for example, right now, myth units with Ivory Netscape. I'm not even going to bring out the overpowered myth unit. Any of the myth units with Ivory Netscape are now working as economy. And it's not a small amount of economy. If I do 10 damage per second and I constantly deal damage, I'm getting myself 5 resources per second, which is way more than a villager gets. So, yeah, there's that. So you just have to be really, really smart with how you're going to approach this one. Oh, big yawns. Unless we'll see what's going to happen here for game number 2. It is going in onto the map Step. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having fun. I know it's only one series today. Tomorrow's a huge day, by the way. Tomorrow we got, I don't even know. I was looking at it once upon a time. I think we got Adapes Zugt, right? Adapes Zugt. And then we have Matador versus Mosca. And then we have the Mister versus Grass tomorrow, which is absolutely insane. I believe maybe Darth Nox and Garneth move their time as well because they're currently overlapping. I normally try and ask if they want to do that. Alrighty, so we're going to be in about 2 minutes here. I haven't talked much about this matchup, but what I've noticed thus far is obviously Anubites are going to be a real big important part of the ISIS game plan. So getting some nice early pressure in with Anubites. There's a really cool build that Rappel did a while back where he was able to get like an extra Anubite out. He was able to get himself Feet of the Jackal, the Anubite upgrade, and he was able to get a second town center up. All in one swift motion with one beautiful build order with a lot of sweaty micro. I think if there was a god to pull that out on for maximal effect, I think it's this one. Because the thing we are seeing against the fast second town center is a fast heroic from Tsukiyomi. And that's like destroying the fast second town center. But if you do a huge amount of damage and you delay that heroic age by even a minute, then all of a sudden you've got an extra minute to build priest. You've got an extra minute to get walls up. You get an extra minute to put towers down. And that's, I keep saying it. I haven't yet to see anyone actually try it. Maybe they've tried it in practice and it doesn't work. But the thing that makes the most sense to me here for Egyptian is a 2 down center fast heroic with lots of walls, towers, priests. Why towers? Well, it prevents the Shogun from coming in. It allows you to garrison your villages when the Tengu are there. And obviously, if the walls are there, the Tengu have to jump over, and you're going to be able to have your priests in position behind the walls, such that when the Tengu jump in, they're not going to get immediately barreled down and killed. But we'll see. As we're getting into game number 2 here, it's going to be Isis versus Tsukiyomi. Rappel versus Nyan. Let's get it. Alrighty then. Left-hand corner, it will be TheRapl for this one. And on the right-hand corner, it will be Nyan. So we are on the map Step. Really nice open map. Makes life hard for the walls. That being said, there's always going to be gold mines on the side here. And as such, it's not that hard to wall this. Put a wall here. Put a wall here. Or even just a wall here and a wall back here. Have your priest back here. Like literally back here. So when the Tengu jump over the wall, you're fine to defend. So there is some opportunities here to go for that. I don't know if it's any good though. That's my theory at the moment. I'm yet to test it. Maybe one day. Nonetheless, Flood on the Nile coming through for TheRapl. Relatively soon. Is he going for like massive sweaty micro? It doesn't look like he actually is going for the sweaty micro, so probably not doing the strategy I was suggesting. Ula's bow over here is going to be max range of range attack +1 there for your archers. Over onto this side, there is the Tier Angantir sword, making heroes get some life steal. That's actually a really big relic for this matchup. Dwarven horseshoes +5% for cavalry, and finally the Kui drum. Going to be making the heroes get more damage done when they lose HP. Another really big relic for this matchup. Now, all that being said, sometimes the threat of something can be more than enough for you to say, well, let's just do something different. If I'm threatening, if the threat of like these Tengu comes, then you just say, great, I won't go Tengu. I'll do something else. What if we go for mass cavalry? What if we go for a whole bunch of samurai? What if we go for a town center where our opponent won't be able to really react to that type of thing? Yeah, there's a lot of ways through it. Nonetheless, it's going to be a standard build order here for TheRapl. He's not doing anything too out of the box. As the Kitsune, let's have a little goat count after all this. The fastest scout in the game has claimed 11 goats here, it looks like. And unfortunately for Rappel so far, he has 3. So yeah. This Kitsune gets a lot of advantages early on. Have a look at how Nyan has scouted here. He's gone this way, he went up this way, he went around this way, he's come back through here, he's come over here, he's claiming everything. Are there any other goats left? There's still a couple at the top, but that's about it. A couple over here as well. But the good thing here is for... I actually probably do like goats. Goats are probably really nice versus Tsukiyomi. You can take them away from him. It's probably going to feel pretty good. But anyways, we are seeing Bast, actually. Excuse me. I'm a little surprised to see the Bast. Maybe the idea is to just build some Sphinx and then Eclipse, like early on, into the base. That could be the idea. Kind of makes some sense. Nice fast Eclipse into the base, kill off all the villagers. We are seeing a quick Inari Orkami as well as 3 Kitsune. 3 Kitsune coming out. That's kind of wild. Wait, is he going to go? No. I don't even want to pretend to understand what's happening here. But the Kitsune can come out. They can come and take the obelisks down, clean up all the vision that Rappel has on the map. He's only got 5 obelisks out at the moment, so not a ridiculous amount, but he does see the majority of the map. And hang on, what? This is the fast... Okay. NyanRacingCat is in a world of his own. He's got his own strats. He's going for 9-tailed kitsune, which are very, very quick. They can snipe down priests and things like that. Priest is going to be bringing this back. Now you see a whole bunch of priests coming out of the temple. Barracks coming down. Now, one thing to remember here is while you don't get the fast Tengu out, you're not really losing out on that many resources with this new moon usage. If you use it in the heroic age, you just get 1 more tech. And that tech is pretty cheap. It's only like 20 favor, 150 gold or something. It's pretty cheap tech. So you're still going to be very much able to do a whole lot. And every little bit of damage that these kitsune do, if they can find something to attack, will mean gold in the back pocket for NyanRacingCat. As he does get all that scouting in. Barracks is up for Rappel, and just the tiniest little bit of a deviation here from NyanRacingCat, and all of a sudden Rappel hasn't been able to get any damage done onto Nyan early game here. In fact, Rappel is the one taking the damage, and he's not even like Nyan isn't even going for it. He's just forcing idle time. Priests have to sort of float everywhere, but even if there's a priest there, you can kind of say, no worries, I don't mind. You can hit me a little bit, it's fine. But nonetheless, Hachiman now queued up, so the strategy is absolutely crystal clear. It's going to be a fast heroic. It's going to be the early Shogun, and it's going to be a fast heroic on the other side here for the Rappel as he gets his armory up, and he's got to be thinking, ooh, I'm Egyptian, I'm ISIS, I get the stuff faster, right? Well, in this situation, no, and also in the situation of Hachiman and, well, not even Hachiman, but Tsukiyomi, 56 seconds versus 75 seconds. It's very, very tough to hit that heroic age first. As we do see an attempt here, trying to get some little nibbles onto the priests. These guys haven't gotten a whole lot of damage. 126 when probably one or 2 obelisks onto that. So maybe like 26 actual damage. That's the daimyo queued up. Another stable coming in for Nyan. And we have ourselves a very, very spicy matchup here. As another temple now coming down for the Rappel as he's like, ooh, I need more priests, is his thought. Is he going priest siege? I could be wrong. It's been a while since we've seen a priest siege, but can it work? And Nyan obviously doesn't have to go Tengu. He can do whatever he wants, but it is going to be in a pretty quick Spirit of Mart. 2 temples. He sees the army. He's going to make some spearmen out. Get himself his upgrade for the gold mine. The double daimyo are out. We are going to be seeing Yumi horse archers as well. I don't like the look of this here from the Rappel. Scorpion Man also going to be giving some samurai over. That's going to be at least 1, surely. Basically 1 samurai there. 113 damage is 1, but I'm not exactly sure how that damage calculation works. As the villagers now coming down onto the bottom, dropping that Migdol. Spearman coming down here. Samurai coming through. Tengu gets turned onto. Pharaoh doing what he can, trying to take out those kitsune as the Tengu dives in there onto the villagers. Does manage to pick that one off as the Sphinx Scorpion men coming in. We are seeing those samurai hanging in here as the Migdol stronghold looks like it will be finishing up here. But so far, Nyan is just getting himself so much value. Village is going to be falling over here as well. It's the Pharaoh. Dies into the Migdol, but manages to keep himself going. But NyanRacingCat seemingly has a gigantic advantage now. He's got huge value still left inside of this Shogun. He's got a really strong army of Yumi Archer, of Naginata Rider, and the rest. And we are now going to be seeing more Miko starting to come through. As the Camel Rider's in and Ancestors Eclipse into the main base here. A tale as old as time as he's trying to get any amounts of idle time onto this economy that he possibly can. Even a villager kill or two would not go astray. Gets a couple. There are obviously these units up here that he can just sort of crash the minions into to get some extra value. But all this idle time is going to give Rappel what he needs, which is just a little bit of economic catch-up. He's brought the villager differential back to 3. And he idled the economy there for maybe 20 seconds before he lost everything. So be careful not to sack any of those minions in onto that daimyo there and give more samurai, but maybe a villager getting picked off. Gets one, pulling around onto the side here, and the minions do end up dying. As Rappel now does have himself a fairly decent army. He's still quite a bit behind the army of Nyan, but Nyan has no pushing power here. So you can just sit back, sit behind the Migdol stronghold, and you're sort of good to go. You can even go raiding with those camel riders, and you'll be completely fine. Up onto the top random market going up there. The only other, I guess, the big problem here for Rappel is he's going to be running out of food soon. He does have a couple of chickens left in his main base. He's got the berry bushes as well. But he'll need to move out of his base here and grab these boars or drop farms, which won't be ideal. There's Rappel now. Oh, he does manage to find a Miko out in the middle of the map. Looking for raids all over the place. There is also the villagers out on that second food source. Defends himself on this spot. The one thing here for the Rappel going for him is he hasn't used his prosperity yet. And he can put a ton of villagers onto gold here. Especially up onto this spot as well. And just live the dream. There's the camel riders coming through. Will he get a villager here? He does manage to snipe one. More villagers up onto the top here with very low HP. As the army of NyanRacingCat looking to poke forward yet again. But Rappel is just like, he's cool. He says, I don't need to actually take any fights. Let's just sit back and wait. At the moment it's heavy or medium versus heavy. So Rappel could potentially take a fight here, but why would you? Walls coming up onto this side as the army of NyanRacingCat trying to sneak through here. That's not going to be allowed.
Nani?
Another Miko over onto this side was sent to her fate, but does manage to keep it alive as Rappel will lose his camel rider there, unfortunately. He's sending his army out looking for more raids here. I mean, villager differential is now in front He did use his prosperity. He's got another one in the bank here. Unfortunately, he can't really use any of that favor on myth units here until that daimyo is down. Once he's down, you could go into a whole bunch of scorpion men, a whole bunch of sphinx, whatever he feels like. The camel rider coming through, going to take out a bunch of these units here. Every little bit of damage is such a big deal for both players here. And Rappel has sort of grinded himself back into a pretty good position here. As he will pull back around onto this side. He's got all the units back here. If he can keep his camel rider alive, he can heal it up. He does have Spirit of Mart, so those priests are going to be working overtime. Looks like he sniped the Meekle yet again on that shrine. As Rappel's into the main base. Looking for more villagers to kill up onto the top here. Those villagers on that gold mine are so juicy for the pickings. Up onto the top, a little cheeky Migdol stronghold, but I don't see any villagers going over there just yet. 2 Naginata riders standing watch. As the camel rider has been dealt with, and the fight still not a fight that Rappel really wants to take. Rappel is like technically still behind here, and not by a small amount. He's still got to catch up about 2k military resource value. As everything dives into the Migdol. Any little bits of damage, like I said, any little bits of damage matters a lot. A second daimyo comes through though for Nyan. He says, I don't need another new moon. Let's go another daimyo. As a Migdol stronghold trying to get shot up onto this position here. 70 seconds from completion. The monument here as well, protecting against any sort of swampland from coming through. And now heavy is through for Nyan as well, as the Migdol stronghold finishes up there for Rappel, which might be enough for him to sort of hold on here as the Shogun's getting sniped down, and Nyan overcommitted. At least seems like he overcommitted in a big way there. As now the villagers can not only grab this gold mine, but they also can grab this food here as well. I mean, villager differential still being quite close is a little bit on the scary side for Rappel, but we'll see if he can push it forward. He can drop another prosperity. That's going to be a big help, especially if he wants to like drop a bunch of Migdols down and just say, okay, let's just shut all of this down and go next stage. Is that another monument, or am I going crazy? It is. He's going for another monument on this spot. Just wants to play around Swampland. Scott Ballard's so strong. That's a little cheeky run up onto the top here. Camel Rider's coming through. Trying to snipe down that Shogun. It's getting very close to falling here. Heavy Naginata Riders versus heavy Camel Riders. I believe the Camel Riders here should have the advantage as the Shogun falls, but not before leaving one samurai behind. But those will end up getting sniped as Rappel is going to be cleaning through everything of Nyan's here. And Nyan, for the first time in this game, looks to be behind on military resource count and a little bit lost on what to do to move forward. He forgot Swampland? No, these monuments have been blocking it the entire time. Meanwhile, Camel Riders are going to spot some villagers over onto this side. As Rappel says, I can sit at home while killing all your villagers. That's totally fine. Nyan not paying attention. He's full focused on the military here. And he says, that is enough for me. Not able to take out the Rappel's Isis here with the ace pick Tsukiyomi. He didn't really go into anything. I was a bit confused. I like the strategy. I think the idea of opening with New Moon on the temple to get those Kitsune out and then force idle time, get yourself the heroic age first, makes a lot of sense. But then you have to kind of go, all right, now what? What do we do next? And what Nyan went for was just pure cav, which did lose to a very important unit from the Isis Migdal, which is the Camel Rider. Economy-wise, I'm actually interested in this gold number. Is there ever a gigantic boost of gold? Maybe just here, a little bit on the back end, but it wasn't that amazing. It wasn't that amazing at all. So yeah. I mean, it's an interesting decision to drop the New Moon on the temple, but then not really go heavy on Myth unit, because it's effectively giving you economy. Even if you don't trade particularly well, like if I get 200 damage done with a Myth unit, I've got 100 gold back for that Myth unit, which is not a small amount. And obviously, if I can get myself like 500 damage down or 1,000 damage down, you can get a lot of gold back. But nonetheless, let's go back to the draft and see what they're going to play for game number 3. Alrighty. So we have ourselves Isis win, Hitsukumi loss, and dun 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 dun. If it'll load, Ra versus Uranus for game number 3. Oh, that'd be fun. A nice little bit of spice for our game 3 on key. Definitely think Uranus is a good one in this matchup, but Nyan always complains about how weak Uranus is, yet he's picking it here. So I'm a bit surprised about that one. We'll see how he pilots it. Also, Rappel has always been fairly consistent in how he's ranked the Egyptians. He always feels like they're quite strong. So it'll also be interesting how he's going to go. He's mind gaming me? Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, this map in particular is quite good for Uranus because you can set up the Sky Passage network and you don't have to really care about the middle. You can just go Sky Passage forward on the left, Sky Passage forward on the right, Sky Passage in your main base. And it can be very, very difficult for the Ra play. We actually saw this matchup in the Challengers League. I think it was Avely versus Dezeev. And Dezeev won that one versus Avely. Very, very close match. I highly recommend going back and watching that one. Yeah, okay, I'll be completely upfront about it. The way that the schedule is kind of do what you want, but I did make like a suggested schedule. All of the banger matchups should happen at the end of this. Just to give a couple of highlights. For you guys. Mr. versus Tunison. Kavoth versus Soup. Obviously Recon versus TheRapl, Matrius versus Matador. Then again, I'm pretty excited about all the matchups in the Loki division. Sorry, Adipus. There you go. All right, let's go. Game number 3. Alrighty. So, onto the map key here, as Rappel is currently proving to be a little bit too good for NyanRacingCat. But it's a long series. It's 5 games. Well, it ends after 3, so it could be short series, but it could turn out to be a very long series here if Nyan decides to pull his finger out and make some things happen here. But Rappel's been playing a really, really good series thus far. He's got his Ra. We'll see what he's gonna do. Nyan, on the other hand, is on his Uranas, and this is a god that Nyan has probably played more than most. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got like nearly 500 plus games on the ladder with this god, maybe even more. I mean, he's got so many different accounts as well. It's impossible to even see, but he plays a lot of Uranos. And on this side, let's check out some relics. We've got the text of Imhotep. Minus 10% of the build time there for just buildings. Roseburg Wagon, making your caravans move a little faster. Onto the top here, it is Ulla's boat. She's going to be +1 ranged attack for your ranged soldiers. And finally, the relic in Nyan's hands is the Ankh of Ra. So Nyan wants just a little bit more favor first and foremost. And then he'll go on to the next thing. Which is probably going to be every single one of these middle relics here. Unless Rappel already has a temple up, which he hasn't even started. So, a very, very fast temple. A very, very fast relic grab from Nyan. But this will mean he's going to slow his advance down. He's grabbed just enough gold for his temple, a house. Still getting himself wood. You can see how far behind he is on the food. But realistically here, I think he still gets a 4-minute advance time with this build. This is kind of a somewhat modern-esque build from Uranos, and you really only want to do it if you know where the relics are. And the good thing about Key is that the relics are all in the center. So, a huge, huge boost to the Uranos if there's some good relics, of which, you know, there's some pretty good ones. You know, more favor, faster building time, faster caravans is always nice to keep yourself competitive late game, and Ulla's bow is obviously really, really good here as well. Temple now coming down there for the Rappel, else he'll be looking to advance. Town center wise, I mean, he could go for a second town center, but they're pretty average here. Those gold mines, not ideal. This town center's okay, but it's really quite far away from his main base. And no real surprises here. Oceanus coming through, and we will be seeing Tar for the Rappel. So there's already been a sort of idea floated. I think most people kind of keyed into it right away when they saw the patch notes, but one idea here is with the fact that the Slinger got a slight nerf on its damage versus counter archers and a slight buff versus everything else, is that slight buff versus everything else does also tie into a buff versus infantry, of which if you can get yourself to segment, you're going to be able to make slingers, which are hitting like Toxotes, except with more range. So I think the Toxotes is still hitting a little bit harder, but nonetheless, it's still a really, really nice unit to go for, especially in this matchup when your opponent's probably going to be making a whole bunch of Mermillos. We do see double military barracks there from NyanRacingCat at the start of this game. He's already over onto this side here. Drops himself a nice house just to defend himself. Unless it will be a couple of spearmen coming out straight away for the Rappel, so he can't. He decides against going for that far second town center and all the other good stuff. And into the middle of the map here. A little bit of a skirmish is you've got to be so careful with this early game. Like, I'm so terrified against Uranos early game just on the fact that this unit exists. This unit gives all the advantage to Uranos early game. I don't think there's a stronger god than Uranos Gaia in the early game in terms of like taking early fights, because you can just heal the units back up to full HP as if nothing happened. Nonetheless, some more Wadgets to come through, Axemen, all the other good stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I'm very, very tired, guys. I am very, very tired. But the show must go on. As this kind of looks like we're going to be seeing some sort of vintage, raw, classical fight shenanigans. Wadgets, Axemen, Slinger, Spearmen, Priests, putting up those obelisks all over the place. And we do see a sky passage on this side. That does get spotted by the Rappel, but he's probably not going to be wanting to drop his shifting sands just yet. That's good reaction there from Rappel. The wood villagers, just a little bit of idle time. And Nyan has to pull all the way back and think about where to go next. Yeah, seeing some spearmen up onto this top. Does manage to snipe an oracle here, but then the Murmillo is going to be a little bit of trouble. Can he get out of here? He can get out of here. 5 speed versus 5 speed though, so it's somewhat tough. In fact, actually with the priest here healing up, he can win this fight. There's 2 Murmillos, but maybe he can't win it. I don't know. Anyways, Rappel now pushing out. Going to look to come over onto this side. I think Nyan probably needs to think about getting himself some counter barracks or getting to the heroic age. One of the two. He is making a couple more oracles out, but a couple of Hero Caraballister here to pop out of this sky passage and defend this would be absolutely huge. Oh, he gets the citizen there as well. That's gigantic. And the sky passage goes down. As into the main base, that one low HP spearman gets back safe and sound. Now obelisk coming up onto the bottom here. Nyan says time for Bite of the Shark. It still looks like he's trying to get heroic age though. I think he just wants Satyr and Chaos to potentially take this army out, but it's not the easiest to take out because the Shifting Sands is there. Nice little turn here from Nyan. Actually also drops the Carnivora. I don't even think he got one kill with that. Oh, he got one. There you go. It's now into the main base here. These Wadgets are coming in again. They're so deadly. It's like, it's got to be like, what, does he die? Oh my god. 6 Wadget spits connecting onto a citizen kills it. Absolutely insane. I didn't even know that. I thought I don't even know. These guys know too much. We're not even seeing more Wadgets coming out. He's just going to say, no worries, we'll leave the favor up there. Hyperion is on the way. We do see a little sneaky sky passage at the top of the map as the Mamillo's just running around doing what they can here, but realistically here, Rappel's got to be careful about this gold mine because this is what's going to be a problem. There is also a sky passage over here, so the Mamillos can drop from one side of the map to the other side of the map pretty quickly. As Rappel pulls back away from his gold mine, he does have his army up over here, making sure no funny business is going on. And Nyan is sort of getting attacked from all angles here. Thing is, he can sneak this gold mine, so it's never a problem. As the Contaris are going to come through, and Rappel has to make a decision. Do you stay classical age here and risk getting run over by Satyr, but you need to stay it for the Contarius for a whole bunch of spears? Or do you just try and get heroic age as fast as you can and go Sobek for counters to the Satyr? He does have the Wadgets. How much range do they have? 18 range versus 18 range, though. It could work. It's Nyan wandering forward now, grabbing this gold mine as the army of Rappel probably should be looking for a fight here, because then he can shifting sands away and then heal it back up. Rappel says, okay, I got my farms down. How many farms does he actually have? He's got 16 farms, and he does have Shadoof. So I say it like this. If you build a farm without Shadoof, just a regular Egyptian farm and drop rain, rain pays for it. Literally, that's all rain does. Pays for your farm. But if you have Shadoof, now you're in the profit for the first rain. It's not terrible to do this. It's not terrible at all. And you can also just drop another rain in an extra 50 seconds or so as well, if he has the 30 favor, for even more food income. Nyan's army is slowly building up. He's got himself a good hefty amount of units here. But he still has to sort of time this. He wants to hit the trigger just as Heroic Age is coming in. And now is that time. So we'll see if Nyan's going to be able to actually make something happen here. With a nice Chaos, he's got himself enough favor for Carnivora and another Shockwave. Has not been building many myth units at all with this favor, so I imagine it's just going to be God Power Spam Nation. Contarius roaming around onto the bottom. Rappel getting some really, really good damage done onto those Satyr there. Does manage to stay alive. Only really got connected by a couple of shots. So Contarius gonna take some villagers down, but Rappel immediately reacting. Army coming through over to this side as the Carnivora gets dropped down. The Chaos gets dropped down. No shifting sands here from the Rappel is wild. I expected that like immediately, but Heroic Age now in, units coming through, Locust to get dropped down by the Rappel, and Nyan says, I guess we better run. And there is no running here, it looks like, not from these priests, not from these Wadget. One satyr remaining as that one will end up going down. As the army numbers for both players sitting kind of close, but this generally favors the Egyptian, because they're going to be able to spam out so much quicker now, get back up to full pop and be in a good spot. You can actually drop another rain here for just a huge boost of economy to spam whatever he wants, or he can just go, well, we'll just make a whole bunch of Patsukots here, because they are a fantastic answer to the satyr. So now we see the electro bullets, some slingers coming through. The only problem here for the Rappel, and this was similar to Avely, is he needs to think gold mine now. He's got to go get himself that gold mine. Up on the top here, over here, doesn't really matter. And while Siege works for the Rappel, as he wants to get something to just break through all of this stuff, the priest slowly healing everything up over here. He's like, just wait, we're just going to get our guys back to full HP. It's going to be great. And I guess Nyan's next plan here is he's got 70 favor in the bank, but he's got a lot of oracles. He's got 7 of them. In 50 seconds, another Hyperion, another Chaos to try and break this, try and force a whole bunch of resource spend out, and then I'd love to see a Sky Passage up here, over here, and a Sky Passage right in the middle here, with a nice big fat Oracle, just seeing everything. Maybe an Oracle over here and an Oracle at the top. Nonetheless, Axeman in hot pursuit. Here's the thing though, right? What are the... I see people memeing the Arcus. The Arcus is actually really, really good in some very specific situations. And one of them is when you're up against Axeman and you have a front line. Because you can pull the front line back and then you can shoot and scoot with the Arcus and you can snipe a whole bunch of them. But man, these myth units are going to be doing some big, big damage. I'm actually curious. How much damage have they actually done here? 800. 957. It's less than I thought. But they haven't really had much of a fight just yet. The Siege Tower will be able to start breaking through this position as well. But Rappel at full pop, Nyan at full pop. This position getting broken down as the villagers will make their way over onto this gold mine. And Nyan says, I can't even take a fight. He's making a whole bunch of hero Murmillos to try and break past this myth unit line. Town center on this side going up for Nyan while the fight coming in. Chaos does get dropped down. We will see a Shifting Sands getting dropped. Pulls back over onto this side. There's only a handful of priests here. There's a lot of healing needing to be done. Onto this side, Migdol Stronghold to come up. Nyan's sort of free to grab this town center. Obviously, it can get knocked down pretty easily by the Siege Tower, but because he doesn't need resources here, he's got the Sky Passages. He can just pop through there, come over here, eat this food, get onto this gold mine. No care in the world. Now, one other upgrade here that's super important for anyone playing with slingers is heavy. 18 range might seem like it's a lot, but it's not. Not against 21 range. 19 range helps you get a little bit closer to those Arcus and actually start dealing with them. Rappel flies a little bit too close to these Satyr over here, but as soon as the Satyr get close to the Pitsukos, they start getting zapped down. Now, the benefit here is I think they are quite a bit faster than the Pitsukos. It's only 0.2 speed, but seems like it can be a lot more than that some of the time. Montara's coming in onto the back line here as Heroes charging through, trying to take pictures with the Pitsukos and the Wadgets and everything else, but military-wise, still a very close fight, but those Pitsukos going down to the Heroes on the back is going to be painful. But the same too, those Satyr going down in the front here is also going to be very painful. And all of a sudden, the NyanRacingCat army has been broken through. And Rappel can look to take this town center down. He's still behind on villagers, but Nyan doesn't need to be fighting this. He's just taking a fight that he's just going to be losing units in, and he just taps out. No fighting spirit here from NyanRacingCat in this one. He taps out, and Rappel here gets off to an incredibly hot start in this tournament. I think he might be 6-0 at the moment. Absolutely dominating NyanRacingCat in this one. Not exactly sure what Nyan's plan was here with grabbing this town center. He's going to grab it. Just you don't need to be taking the fight. So after the shifting sands and he runs back, just go, great, let's take another town center or something like that. We can just get ourselves up to 100 villages and we can fight like for something else. Wait for another chaos, for example, is another option. Sacrificing the town center on the front while jumping around sky passages, being annoying, trying to raid in the main base, etc., etc. But yeah, this one here, well played from TheRapl. Takes the series in commanding fashion. Military kill loss does go slightly in favor of Nyan, but I think, is he also in front of military? He's not in front on eco, so I think he's just fallen a little bit off there, and that does mean a lot in this matchup. Nonetheless, well played there to TheRapl. Takes the win. I hope you guys are enjoying. If you are enjoying, make sure you come back tomorrow and let's send over this menu and I'll tell you all about it. Alrighty guys, we're going to be wrapping up for today. Before we do wrap up, tomorrow, the big day, we have 3.5 series. So there's 2 series that are going on that are basically on at the same time. There is the first series tomorrow is going to be Intermission versus Zucht, which is at 12:30 GMT tomorrow. So Saturday, 12:30 GMT. Following up after that, there is Darthnox and Garneth, which is at 1500 GMT. But there is also Matador versus Moscow, which is at 1500 GMT, and we will be covering that game. Now, if there's time to do recorded games, we'll do those, but nonetheless, then we have the Mr. versus Grass after Matador Moscow at 1700 GMT. So that's our schedule for tomorrow. But I am exhausted. I am going to go to sleep. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the day. I'll give Sammy Shimmers a bit of a raid. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.